All right, guys, this is A-Way, and this is A-Way to Shed. Today we got TZank.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
Yeah. Take us back, man. Take us back to your childhood. What type of person were you, let's say, early on, middle school?
Middle school, man, I was sick. Honestly, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 7th grade, and I was out of school for a while because we were just trying to figure out what was going on. My stomach was messed up. Things were different. But other than that, everything was cool. You know what I mean? I dealt with a lot of health problems, but...
Can you touch up on it? What was that you said?
Crohn's disease,
Crohn's disease. What is that?
Thank God it's been dormant for like a decade, so get that out there. You know what I mean? I'm good. But yeah, essentially what was happening was my immune system was attacking itself, and my stomach was getting ulcers and stuff like this was going on. I was in pain. I couldn't eat. So yeah, we had to figure out what was going on. And by the grace of God, they were able to figure out what was going on to a certain degree, get me on some medicine and whatnot. Yeah, we worked through it. Middle school, other than that, man, I like to play basketball. I was on the tennis team. You know, tennis is my favorite sport, so that's really where it began. And of course, at the same time, I was learning how to play guitar, so I was dipping my feet in with the music. I've always been a huge fan of classic rock. And yeah.
Where are you at this time?
What's that?
Where are you at this time? What location?
Oh, I'm at Successful Music Studios, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Yes, sir. Living here about 8 years now.
I meant to say during this time when you were, you said in 7th grade.
Oh, yeah. I was living with my parents, Angola, Indiana. Yep. My dad does real estate. My mom been involved in banking, so got great parents, man. They've always looked out for me, honest to God. They've always supported me in everything I wanted to do. But yeah, at that time I was living with them, and we were just trying to figure out what was going on with me. I've always had like health issues. Even before that, when I was growing up, it was always like I dealt with something called absent seizures when I was in elementary school, where I would just like be gone for like 20 seconds. I'm not like seasoned or nothing, but I was like staring off in the distance, and then I'd wake up and people are like yelling at me, and I'm like, didn't know what happened, you know what I mean? So like, it's been like a few layers of that as I grew, which was really interesting in how I am today, you know what I mean? Had to battle with some health shit, go through a lot of testing with doctors and being in hospitals all the time, so it definitely played a role in defining who I am, you know what I mean?
How often would you say you were missing school?
I missed like almost like a year straight. Like I was still a good student. I would take work home and, you know, work from the house, but I was rarely there. I was on steroids, so that was fucking with my appearance and like how I felt and everything. And yeah, dude, it was just like a moment in my life young where I really had to like figure out how to get past it. It was a building moment, but yeah, like I said, man, that shit's been not an issue for a long time, so I'm grateful for that. It played a massive role in my early career, though, coming out as an artist, finding the confidence to be who I knew I wanted to be when I found my love for hip-hop. And yeah, man, I wrote an album in 2013 called Evolve, where I pretty much just went through my life to that point and just talked about that situation, all the health stuff I've been through, starting out as an artist, trying to figure out where I want to go with life, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's been a journey, man. I love it.
Definitely, man. So carry on into high school. Were the health issues as much, or they were starting to slowly get figured out?
Yeah, things got figured out towards the end of middle school.
Okay.
Things were getting better. The medicine started working. I started getting off some of the medicines. So moving into high school, I got really into tennis. And I'm still in it today, man. I lost a tough match last night.
Yeah.
Your boy was stressed.
Okay.
But no, it's fun. I play for fun now. But yeah, in high school I got really into tennis. I was playing in a few different rock bands, playing a lot of guitar, and yeah, a lot of the people I surrounded myself with were into that kind of stuff. It was either with sports in general or music, you know what I mean? And so yeah, I was diving in with a variety of characters, just trying to make something happen when it comes to music and just make some cool songs, really. We weren't really trying to think about it as a career at this point, but definitely played a major role.
Yeah,
High school was cool though, man. I had fun.
Definitely, man. Did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to Ohio Northern University.
Oh, wow.
Over, about 3 hours from Fort Wayne. Maybe not 3, maybe like 2, but into Ohio, of course. And yeah, I pursued an electrical engineering degree there. Was able to grab that. College was really where I found myself in the hip hop industry. I met this dude named Dave Santango when I was a freshman. Actually, no, I was a sophomore because Dave's a year younger than me. He was coming in as a freshman. So I had been doing my engineering thing for a while. And in the midst of that, I had found my love for freestyling. Like, that's really where it started for me. Me and my friends in high school, even, we listened to, like, Killer Mike. Killer Mike was a huge inspiration to me. And Kanye West. Like, there's a lot of people. I won't get into, like, too many artists because, you know. But, yeah, like, people like this were moving at the time. My friends were into it. And I was like, damn, I could freestyle. I remember trying to, like, replicate a Twista verse and being able to damn near do it on some, like on some chopper type of shit. And I was like, damn, bro, this is fun. Like, I can actually snap like this for whatever reason. So that kind of fueled my drive to start even, like, messing around with it. And I would just freestyle in the basement with the homies. We'd have fun, get a little buzz, you know, and just hang out. And then when I got into, like, college a little bit more, I started doing that at parties, like at frat parties and, like, you know, bigger gatherings of people. I would just rap over beats. People would put them on, and it was just something fun that we would do. And yeah, I found my love for it then. And that led to when Dave came into college a year later. He is a super producer at this point. Like, he's young, but he has some different type of ears and a different way that he's looking at, you know, music in general. So he opened up, like, a recording studio in his dorm room. I mean, he was charging me like $10 an hour, you know what I mean? We were just having fun, but he had that business perspective from the jump. So that really played a role later. And, you know, to this day, that's my business partner in successful music. Like, he's lives in London at the moment and works for a few companies, but this is where I started to think about things different. Like, man, I could really do this, and I like this shit. I really want to do this as a career, maybe, if it makes sense. Music in general. But I started to find that focus on hip-hop. And so, yeah, I met Dave. We started recording a couple records. I started believing in it more. It started to become something that made a lot more sense. And I always believed, you know what I mean? What's up, man?
I got lost.
Oh, you good? How you doing, bro?
How you been,
Long
man?
time no see.
No doubt.
Man.
Looking good in this motherfucker, man.
Yes,
What
sir.
up,
You know,
man?
I've been talking about this since back at the house, man, for a long time. I've been trying to get this spot and whatnot, but yeah, man. Just in general, that's where my love for hip hop really started, was in college. So that's played a big role today for sure.
Hell yeah. So then, let's say, what was your first steps? Like you said, you figured out you want to take it business, you want to do the series. What was the first steps in that?
Yeah, man. I mean, the initial steps, of course, were the freestyling and just being around
when you
people
started
and-
getting paid.
Yeah. So, like, it really started here in Fort Wayne, and this was a major reason why I moved here as well. My best friend, Tony Doherty, he was living here at the time and was attached to a record label called Young Lions. And, you know, there wasn't really much going on, but it was a group of people that were passionate about what they were doing. So I was like, okay. And, you know, a lot of these people have gone on, I'll say more about this, but they've gone on to make great careers in this stuff. And it all started with us kind of being like, man, what do we want to do? How do we want to go about this kind of thing? And, yeah, so, like, through Tony, they had found my music online. I was doing shows around Fort Wayne for free. I was just performing at, like, pop-up events, smaller venues, just having fun. And they contacted my best friend Tony because he was kind of like my manager at the time, right? They emailed him, and it was this dude named Pat. And he was representing Tech9 at the time as far as booking goes. And they were throwing a show in Fort Wayne, and they wanted us to open. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. You know what I mean? I'm definitely down. So we do the show. We get to develop some connections in that lane with Strange Music and Tech9, and that really puts some fuel on the fire, right? Like, I'm like, okay, I'm not engineering or producing or nothing at this point. I'm just rapping, having fun, getting my degree, not really sure what I'm doing, but just having fun for the most part. But I see it working, so I'm like, okay. We rock this show, develop these connections, and then things start opening up. We start doing openings for other big artists, Kokomo, Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana. And at this point, I meet Miles Meyer, who was a huge part of the initial process, my videographer, for a number of years. And yeah, I see his quality, I see what he's doing, I want to drop some music videos. We start dropping videos, making shit happen, trying to develop the buzz, see where it's gonna go. Putting some money behind ads, trying to figure out what the promotional path looks like. And yeah, in the midst of all of this, things just start kind of moving. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, it's becoming like, I don't really want to do this engineering shit as much. As far as like the electrical engineering, get a job, you know. I'm probably halfway through school at this point when I start to realize like, okay, this is what I'm doing. Like I'm gonna continue to do this for myself, my parents, when it comes to like getting the degree, making sure we good from that front. But now rap is becoming the plan. Like hip hop music is becoming what I want to do. And yeah, in meeting people like Dave and Miles and seeing the team come together at that moment, with Tony booking the shows, that's when things started to change for me mentally. Like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Hell yeah.
Man.
So, were you in a relationship while you were building in college, or did you?
Yeah, I was in multiple relationships in college. Just for a while, I was just doing me. You know what I mean? Just bouncing around to parties, being dumb, having fun type shit. Then I had a few different girlfriends throughout college, and it was ultimately after college where I met my wife. You know what I mean? So at that time, I was wild. Yeah, just kind of having fun type shit for a long time. Yeah.
Got you. So then, at what point in career were you at when you met your wife?
I met her when things really started to bubble. We had a team built here in Fort Wayne. I went to Japan for this electrical engineering job that I had. I was there for like 2 years after college, balancing like a professional mindset for music with this and trying to